Hey, how are you guys doing today? I hope you're doing amazing. So, we're back writing on my book, Echoes of the Cosmic Veil. Of course, it is book one. Let me go ahead and I'll get chat up real quick and we'll get right into things. So, today is going to be a pretty big chapter we're going to be working on. Um, in chapter 10, this is where we first start having people dropped right and left, and honestly, it's where just a crap load of stuff happens. So there is a sex scene in this chapter. I am going to read through it. I am just heads up in you guys. Also, we will have multiple fatalities. So, as you guys remember from last chapter, he's about to go help Kiera get some drugs out of the medical bay, right? Okay. So we're in chapter 10. Most ships' medical bays were automated with a complement of advanced medical machinery, machines manned by a robot. This ship was no different. When we walked in, finding the ship's robot sitting idly, I knew we had gotten lucky. This would be a quick in and out. The medical bay was well stocked and had two regenerative tanks. I don't think we need that capitalized. With a fully equipped operating table. I quickly established a near field connection with the medical robot, having it stay on standby, then walked to the door and made sure the room indicated a patient was being seen, hoping it would give us some privacy and enough time to find out what Kiara needed. It was only a few minutes before we found the medical cabinet that was used to store the harder drugs, along with the medical nanite injectors. It was locked, so I retrieved the security coding for the cabinet from the medical robot system. I opened the cabinet's doors, and Kiara quickly reached past me, taking one of the bottles of pills. It must have been exactly what she was looking for, because she had taken the pills and stashed it away before I could even glimpse what it was. I was glad she had gotten what she needed, and without thinking, or maybe without wanting to gain, or maybe out of wanting to gain something out of a momentum of our adventures together. Okay, let me read back through this. This doesn't sound as good as I want it to. By the way, good morning. I hope you are kicking butt too. Oh, 1 second. Make sure we have that right. Okay. I was glad to see she had gotten what she needed, and without thinking, or maybe out of just wanting to gain something of a memento of our adventures together. Okay, let me fix this. I was glad to see she had gotten what she needed, and without thinking, or maybe this is a very long sentence and I'm not really loving it, but let's see if I made it. I was glad to see she had gotten what she needed, and without thinking, or maybe of wanting to have gained, we can get that out of there. This is going to sound better. Okay, I was glad to see she had gotten what she needed, and without thinking, or maybe out of wanting to have something of a momentum of our adventures together, I grabbed a couple of medical nanite injectors, placing them in my pocket. Okay, I'm okay with that for right now. Might get touched later when I'm home and it's not 5 a.m. I'm going to just be honest. Who knows? We'll find that out later on. Okay, so let's see. The pills she had taken quickly kicked. Let's fix this because we have her stuffing the bottle. Okay, let's see it. It must have been exactly what she was looking before, because she had taken a few. Okay, because as soon as. Okay, let's see if this is better. It must have been exactly what she was looking for, because as soon as she had taken a few of the pills, she stashed it away. Okay, let's see if this sounds good. It must have been exactly what she was looking for, because as soon as she had taken a few of the pills, she stashed it away so quickly I could not even glimpse what it was. Okay, I was glad she had gotten what she needed, and without thinking, or maybe out of wanting to have something of a momentum of our adventures together, I grabbed a couple of the medical nanite injectors, placing them in my pocket. The pills she had taken quickly kicked in, and her pain seemed to die away, along with the voices from everyone else's mind. Everyone's minds. Okay. She seemed to relax, and her smile broke through. Kiara glanced up into my eyes, or in a come hither me way, saying, "Thank you, Sam. You have no idea what it is like." Okay, let's see about this. "Thank you, Sam. You have no idea what it is like to have so many thoughts in your head all the time." As she pushed her body against mine, my hand slid up her waist as I leaned in to kiss her elegant neck. "I can still feel your thoughts, Sam. Is it enough to block out? It's enough to block out all the other voices, though, and give us a moment." Our clothes quickly found our clothes quickly found their way to the floor as our hands explored each other's bodies. As I lifted her onto the counter, I started kissing down her body. She was exquisite. Okay, that makes sense. I loved how ripe and perfect her breasts were as I ran my hands over them and down her body and over her body. As she opened her thighs, my hands slid down, pleasantly excited, like opening a present. "Oh, you know what? We might get a little X-rated in here. I'm not really sure we can read this on YouTube the rest of the way. Let me go through this. Obviously, it gets. I'm not really sure what we're allowed to read on here. So if all of a sudden if I get nailed for some kind of activity on here, sorry. Okay, we'll go through it. I flicked my tongue over her nipples. I could not help myself from sucking upon them. She started to moan as my fingers slid past her soft flesh, brushing over her clit. My desire was primal as I lifted her onto the counter. Her legs quivered as I went down on her. The way she squirmed with pleasure was delighting. Yep, okay. As she started to climax, she pulled me up, wrapping her legs around me, while drawing me into her. From there, the next few minutes were an exchange of fucking each other in a carnal and mutually gratifying way. As she sat, mounting me, her body thrashed against mine. It happened. Okay, let me. Boom. Right as I was reaching climax, it triggered something in the AI. A connection must have established between the AI and myself. Suddenly, a flood of memories from Eric and the particular memories and wait, hold on. Suddenly, a flood of memories from Eric were triggered. Okay, let's see. Let's fix this up. Okay. The memories were of him and Amelia. The memories were real to the. Okay. The memories were real to the point of becoming a blur, of which experience was the here and now. As the combination of it all peaked into total climax, I yelled, "Yes, Amelia. God, yes. Fuck me." With that, Kiara's face filled with anger as she quickly dismounted me, making her way to her feet. I knew what I had done and was starting to put together what had happened, but she was already starting to put her clothes back on when. Okay, let's. Calmly. Oh, okay, not enough. Let's see if this is good. Kiera calmly said, "Let's go get some food. I think we need to talk." As I gathered my clothes so we could get out of the medical bay and go eat. Boom. Think we've got that fixed? Ready? Next part. As Kiera and I left the medical bay, heading towards the galley to get some lunch, she was still visibly upset and still not speaking to me. Right as we approached the galley, we heard a loud explosion, followed by screams. Akio, Rory, Mia, Kyoto, Washington, and Captain Coach came rushing down the corridor, pushing past us, headed to the crew quarters areas where our rooms had been located in a look of panic. I quickly turned, following them down the corridor, which was still engulfed with smoke. As the ship's fire and ventilation systems worked to control the situation, I rounded the corner, only to witness Blake shielding Toby as Ethan opened fire on them with an automatic laser carbine. It looked as if Blake and Toby had just came out of their quarters to see what had occurred. Then, the burst of fire from Ethan's laser carbine had found its mark, striking Blake multiple times. In what was an instant, Kyoto pulled his plasma pistol, shooting Ethan in the side of the temple, killing him instantly. At that moment, Zach and Sarah emerged from their quarters. Let's do Sarah and Zach. Emerged from their quarters. Zach with his light laser pistol in hand, and Sarah with a look of shock and confusion. Before I could even grasp what had happened, Washington grabbed Blake and began carrying him away to the medical bay. Sarah followed quickly behind. Let me help. Chaos was everywhere, as now everyone, including the ship's crew, poured into the corridor. As the smoke cleared in front of my quarters, I could see Trag's body laying torn to pieces. It looked as if the target of the explosion might have been me. I knew I knew almost instantly I had fucked up, and now people were dead. I was supposed to be watching Daniel and Ethan, but instead was off with Kiera. Ethan was laying there dead now, but where was Daniel? I pulled myself together, then made my way through the wreckage of the door to the nightstand. Thankfully, my stash and the nanite injectors were unharmed. I used one immediately and placed the remaining two in my pocket. Then returned. Let's put constructor nanites, right? Okay. Then returned to the corridor to find Akio, Rory, Mia, and Captain Coach still standing there, sizing up what had happened as the ship's robots worked to repair the damage. I pulled up the remote link, comma. I pulled up the remote link I had established with the system, quickly finding Daniel. He was on the bridge with two dead crew members and one held hostage. He was forcing her to operate the communication system and sending a message somewhere. Most of the message had already been sent, but I chose to shut them out of all of the systems. I yelled to Akio and Captain Coach, Daniel is on the bridge and has one of your crew members. He sent out part of a message before I shut him out of the system. As soon as I got the words out, everyone rushed down the corridor towards the bridge. I ran behind Akio, Rory, Mia, and Captain Coach while monitoring what was happening through the remote link. What was happening was not good. Daniel was sure the crew member had locked them out of the system in some way and was threatening to kill her if she did not get it unlocked. I considered unlocking it for a brief second, but it was too late. In frustration, Daniel unloaded a burst of fire from his heavy laser pistol, taking her life. Seconds later, we arrived to the sealed door of the bridge. Akio asked, what is Daniel doing now? I watched as Daniel tried to get communication systems back up while aiming his heavy laser pistol at the door. I told Akio he killed the crew member and is aiming his weapon at the door. Maya spoke. It was the first time I had heard her voice. It was calm and filled with power that flowed over me. Open the door, Sam. A dreamlike fog flowed over. We've got flowed both. Okay. Open the door, Sam. A dreamlike fog flowed over me. Without thought, I hacked in, opening the door. Rory rushed forward into the room, uttering a spell as Daniel opened fire. His laser blasts were deflected by the shield generated from her arcane mastery. Mia immediately moved to back up Rory, motioning her hands in the ways of a skilled spellweaver. As her sigil formed, horror hit Daniel's face and screams immediately followed. Pushing my way into the room unveiled a horrific sight. 3 dead crew members sprawled out there where they had been cut down. The most horrifying thing of all was now was Daniel, moaning in agony, blood now covering him. His bones had grown sharp barbs that pushed through his skin, ripping and tearing his flesh, protruding from everywhere. Akio asked me to find out what they had sent and try to find out who Daniel had contacted. I moved to the communication station, linked in with a direct connection so I could work faster. Linking in with a direct connection so I can work faster. It only took seconds to get communication back online and find the partial message he had sent. He had already relayed our location and the location of the prison hulk. The recipient of the message was an Alamari Empire warship. They had asked if he had made sure I was eliminated and wanted to know further information on the rest of the crew. That was the last thing sent before I shut down communications. As Akio listened, I expected him to be at least a little panicked. Strangely, he did not seem shocked at all and simply said, Sam, I need you to let them know that you have been eliminated and tell them that we're breaching the door now, then cut off the transmission. Make sure they think it's Daniel. I did exactly as they instructed, making sure the Alamari thought that I had been killed by Ethan and making sure they thought Daniel was about to be overran as the door was being breached before allowing the communications to go dead. Kiera and Mia, I need you to stay back a minute. We're going to get every bit of information we can from the sack of shit before sending off to the afterlife. The rest of you and your friends walk away. None of you are going to want to see this, said Akio. Captain Coach stood over the bodies of her dead crew members, her eyes fixed with hate upon Daniel. I could feel the seriousness in the room, as it became clear they were planning on torturing information out of him. As I walked out of the bridge, I glanced back, meeting Daniel's eyes. I could see the dread and agony in his face, and I knew he was silently begging for me to save him. I had killed my friend, he had killed my friend Trag and betrayed us, so the only emotion that it elicited was my hate. I walked off. I felt vindicated that Daniel was laying there in agony with bone thorns protruding from him. As we cleared the room for them to get to work, I considered him well deserving of I considered him well deserving of what he brought upon himself. Okay, so we got all the way through the first hey, a whole shitload of stuff happens chapter. That's awesome. I think we can be happy about that. Of course, tomorrow we'll hit up chapter number 11. I'm pretty happy with how this book is coming along. I am touching it up and even making it a little bit better. The dialogue, I'm not a dialogue master, guys. This is my first real book I've ever written. And so at this point, I'm pretty happy about it. The next one's even going to be better. And I'm touching this up, so it's going to be a pretty good book. Remember, the goal that we're going for is anywhere between Sharknado and Shakespeare, which is a giant goalpost, right? And so it'll be a learning experience. This has been absolutely fun. I much more do enjoy the brainstorming and writing phase of things, but it is kind of nice to see this starting to come together and be a more cohesive actual thing. I want to thank you guys so much for hanging out today and just being amazing. I hope you guys have a great day. Peace, very best wishes, and stay epic.